There we go.
Cool.
And they can hear us now, so I'm going to mute.
Okay. Okay, it looks like it's noon. I'm expecting there might be a few more people logging in, but we're going to get started here. Welcome to our Wednesday webinar, Spotlight on the Help Desk. I am Pam O'Hara, Director of Learning Engagement here at SELCO. Welcome to Spotlight on the Help Desk webinar. Before we get started, there are a few housekeeping items to cover. You should be seeing a slide with our presentation title on it. On the right side of your screen should be a control panel that will allow you to interact with us. If you can try to click the raise your hand button now so I can see that you can hear me, that would be great. And I see some hands being raised. Yay, okay, great. I will undo them, thank you. We have left some time at the end of the webinar, so if you have a question, please enter it using the question function in the control panel, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. Tomorrow, you will get a follow-up email with a link to a video of the webinar and a link to a short survey. Please take a few minutes to fill out the survey to let us know how we did. Feedback from you is the best way we have to improve our webinars and get ideas for new topics. And with that, we will get started. Now that SELCO's reorganization is done, we want to go over some changes in the way the help desk operates. Director of Consulting Services, Donovan Lambright, will discuss the staff, hours of operation, and what issues you can contact the help desk about. There will be time for questions at the end. So take it away, Donovan.
Thank you, Pam. I'm Donovan Lambright, Director of Consulting Services at SELCO. And as Pam said, today we are going to talk about the new and improved SELCO Help Desk. As you may recall, as part of the reorganization that took effect in March, we have redesigned our help desk. Some things have stayed the same, but quite a bit has changed. The SELCO Help Desk exists to connect libraries with SELCO staff who are best able to help resolve problems and answer questions. Help desk has a very strong IT connotation for most people, and it is true that most help desks deal with technology issues. But here at SELCO, we see the help desk primarily as a communications tool. Communication starts with contact, and there are several ways you can contact the SELCO help desk. The most common and probably the easiest is to send an email to helpdesk@selco.info. Emails will automatically be created as requests in our help desk system. The second most popular way is to contact the help desk via the phone. You may recall in the old structure, the help desk had a dedicated phone number. That has been eliminated, and you can now reach the help desk through our regular business line at 507-288-5513. You'll get an automated phone attendant, and the help desk is option number 1, so just hit the 1 key. If you need a toll-free number, we have that available also. It's right there on the slide, and it works the exact same way. Option 1 on the attendant. You can also log into our help desk portal at helpdesk.selco.info. From there, you can create a new request. You can also see old requests, both open and closed. Occasionally, we create web forms for very specific purposes. These web forms usually email information to the help desk software and thus automatically create a request. We usually will do that in a situation where the purpose doesn't change much from library to library, and there are a lot of different pieces of information that we need, and it's important to get everything sort of organized the same way. The best example of that is the web form that we have for creating or deleting library employee user accounts. When a staff member comes on, you can fill out the web form and it has everything that we need to set up all the different accounts that that person will need. By organizing that information, we avoid all the back and forth follow-up calls to make sure that everything gets answered. And it just generally saves time, both for SELCO staff and, more importantly, for library staff. The hours of the help desk have changed. The help desk is available Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. and on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. These are all staffed hours, so none of this is on call. None of this is going to someone outside of the building. These are hours in which a help desk technician is in the office ready to take phone calls and respond to emails. Emergency calls may be made after these regular hours for situations like the complete loss of internet or Horizon functionality or any other major disruption of patron services. Emergency calls after hours still go to that same phone number. The structure of the help desk has changed quite a bit with the new reorganization. Tier 1 consists of dedicated staff. As part of the reorganization, SELCO added 2 part-time help desk technician employees. Their job is to monitor the phones and the email and be ready to respond. They are also trained to resolve basic issues and questions, the kinds of issues that come in frequently and are fairly uniform from library to library. When necessary, they will escalate requests to Tier 2. Tier 2 are the staff experts. These are folks who are not responsible for a shift on the help desk. They are able to resolve complex and specialized issues and questions, and they have other responsibilities at SELCO other than just resolving help desk requests. They are able to prioritize requests based on urgency and the impact of those issues on the libraries. And because they are not actually taking help desk shifts, they have more time for problem solving and other responsibilities. When you contact the help desk and the help desk technician creates a request, there are a number of pieces of information that go in. The most important ones are the request ID number, the name of the requester, and the library that he or she is affiliated with. The request ID number is especially important. Anytime you contact SELCO with a question about a request that has already been created, make sure you have the request ID number because it's the first thing that we will ask for. The beauty of it is that by giving us a 6-digit number, you don't have to tell us anything else. The original description of the issue, any back and forth replies and conversation that we had with you, notes that we may have created about your issue, and ultimately the resolution of the request are all right there, and we and you can just pull them up with the request ID number. So it's a pretty cool little piece of information to have. Requests are given a priority based on their urgency or their impact on the library. Those are done on a scale of 1 to 5 in ascending order of urgency. So the lowest priority is 5, an inquiry, and that represents a straightforward question. There's no problem, there's no work to be done yet. The library is simply asking a question. The next priority going up the chain is to request a change or other work. That is not solving a problem, but that is making some change that the library is asking for, or performing some task that the library needs us to do. Changing circulation parameters might be a good example of that. Priority 3 is for a standard problem. Now, every problem is unique, but some are a little less urgent than others, and most fall into that category. So those go into priority 3. After that, things start to get more serious. Priority 2 indicates that a library is completely down, or that a single important service, like Horizon, is down for everybody. Priority 1 is what we refer to behind the scenes here as the smoking crater scenario. In a priority 1 request, all the libraries are down for everything. Both priority 2 and 1 are all hands on deck situations. When those come in, the help desk technician will immediately inform someone who will start marshaling the people that are needed to solve the problems. Those are drop everything and deal with it situations. In practice, a priority 1 usually indicates that something serious has happened here at the SELCO office, such as loss of our internet connection, which cuts everything off from everybody. Now, I mentioned a moment ago that we have hired 2 help desk technicians. These are the folks that you'll be dealing with when you contact the help desk. The first of those is Bob Olson. Bob's been here at SELCO for a while. Many of you probably have already worked with him. He joined SELCO in 2008 in our delivery area. Emmanuel is our newest SELCO employee. He joined the staff in 2019, and he brings extensive help desk experience with him from other positions. In the event that the help desk technicians need to escalate a request to Tier 2, it may go to one of several different departments. These are all new departments that were created as part of the SELCO reorganization. They are all smaller than the departments that you may have dealt with in the past, and they are just a little bit more specialized. Resource sharing services and technology services deal with specific technological solutions. Resource sharing deals with Horizon and related technologies such as the online catalog, and also processes like cataloging and other technical services. Technology services deals with the non-Horizon stuff, PC support, internet connectivity, things like that. So a good example of a question that might go to resource sharing services would be, this report returned an error message. I ran it and I got something up that said there was a problem. That would be a resource sharing issue. They would look at it, do troubleshooting, and resolve whatever the problem is. Learning engagement is our educational department. They handle training and professional development and other forms of education. A question that might go to them would be, how do I run this report? In a situation like that, they would be able to provide online training or other resources that would help you with that question. And then finally, there's consulting services. Consulting services is a little harder to describe, partly because there was no obvious parallel to it in the old structure, even though consulting sort of ran through everything everyone did. Because it wasn't really defined, it's kind of hard to explain now. But a good example of a question that would go to consulting services would be, which reports should I be running? A consultant can talk to you, talk about how your library operates, what your reporting needs are, both for you and your board, and identify the reports that make the most sense for you and how often they should be run and how that data should be used. The key point here is that the consultant is not going to make that decision for you. They're going to help you understand how things work so that you can make that decision for yourself. In all cases, we are stronger when we work together. So even though we have created multiple new departments, we understand that the needs of the libraries are best served when these departments work together. And that implies collaboration. Tickets may be transferred repeatedly from one department to another as the situation evolves. A question about an error message could easily become a learning engagement or a consulting services question as the situation becomes more fully developed. We will always try to minimize those transfers because no one likes to be transferred around all over the place. We will also ensure that information on why a transfer has happened is always included in that request, both for our benefit as well as yours, because nobody loves getting a request transferred to them without any supporting information than me. Consulting services has other responsibilities. A big part of our job is to listen and clarify. SELCO works very hard to try and ensure that requests are answered as quickly as possible and as accurately as possible. But let's face it, sometimes things go awry. Sometimes a question isn't quite what we thought it was. Sometimes misunderstandings occur. Sometimes what we think is the right answer doesn't quite work in practice for the library. Sometimes emotions can be strained and tempers can fray in those situations, especially if the ticket has been bouncing around for a while. In a situation like that, consulting services is often called in to take over that conversation with the library. And in a case like that, our job is to listen to what the library has to say. If the library is dissatisfied, we want to know why. In some cases, we may need to clarify on why, We may need to clarify why a request was handled the way it was. Or we may need to clarify for our colleagues here at SELCO why that resolution was not the successful one. It's all about building relationships, which is a critical part of the mission for consulting services. And that is all I have to say about the help desk. I would be happy to take any questions.
Hello again, this is Pam. I don't see any questions, but I'll give it just a half a minute here if someone wants to raise their hand or just put in a question.
There's got to be something. I know I didn't cover it all.
And while we're waiting, I can tell you that tomorrow there will be a follow-up email with a link to the video of the webinar and a link to a short survey. So please take a few minutes to fill out the survey and let us know how we did or ask any questions that may occur to you after we've concluded here. Your ideas and suggestions for another webinar topic are welcome, as are suggestions for how we can improve our webinars and get ideas for new topics. For those of you watching the recording, you can reach out directly to Donovan or the help desk with any questions that you have. And going once, going twice. You must have done a really brilliant job, Donovan. Congrats.
Pam, if I could just throw one thing out there. We had a little hiccup on my end, and I didn't get to show my very last slide, which had a lovely picture of myself, which certainly none of you need to see. But it does have my email address. So let me throw that out there just in case anyone does want to contact me with any other questions. That is dlambright@selco.info. Oh, I guess I am going to show my screen. Okay.
Yay,
so you do get to see my lovely face. Your lucky day, huh? But seriously, you can reach me at dlambright@selco.info. If I do not have the answer to your question, I will make sure and get it to someone who does.
Great. And with that, we'll close for today. And thank you, everyone, for attending. Look forward to more Wednesday webinars in the future. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, everybody.